ますか?
After just about a year of PSP reviews for Retro Wednesday, we're going to switch gears for a little while and look at some modern retro classics. I say modern retro as these games are indeed retro classics, just that they're available on modern day platforms and have a nice assortment of bonus features, including some online leaderboards and tons of other under-the-hood touches, which we'll get into in just a sec. To begin with, we're going to be taking a look at the Hamster-developed ACA, or Arcade Archives collection, on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. To kick off our next set of reviews, we'll be looking at Neo Turf Masters, or rather the Arcade Archives version of Neo Turf Masters, which is currently available on all three current-gen platforms. The game retails for the equivalent of $10 depending on where you're located in the world, and it's available through the digital distribution e-stores and features the exact same features regardless of which version you buy. Now, those features include all the options you would expect to find in a Unibios installed MVS arcade cabinet. That means you can switch between the US and Japanese versions of the game, you can alter the difficulty, and much, much more. You can also reassign your controller buttons to whatever you'd like, and that's really useful if you own an arcade stick and really want that authentic Neo Geo experience. There's also a few screen filters and some save states, which is really useful for some of the more challenging games. Neo Turf Masters is one of those Neo Geo classics that is simply a blast to play. It is imbued with so much charm that even if you absolutely hate golf games, there's a very good chance you'll enjoy this one. It's hilarious to see the sprites get angry, the cheesy voice acting, and just about everything else. It's a masterpiece of game design too, and holds up superbly well even after 20 years since the original release. Neo Turf Masters is an arcade simulation golf game, so it's meant to steal your quarters, but be addicting enough for you to keep coming back for more. And believe me, you will be coming back. The A button controls your swing power and the height of your swing based on two ever-moving meters. You can move the direction of your shot with the stick, either left or right, and if you press up and down, you can select a new club. Finally, the B and C buttons allow you to hook and slice your shot, which is very useful for getting around some of the terrain, such as trees. There are 6 available golfers to choose from, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Some are better at putting, while others are great at power shots, etc. Now, there are also 4 golf courses for you to enjoy, and your objective is to sink the ball in as few shots as possible. Each course has a par number, and you always want to hit that or come in under it. Add the wind, terrain, and you can easily see how this is much, much harder to do than it might first seem. My golf game sure isn't what it used to be, but that doesn't stop me from having an absolute blast with this game. As I mentioned, the ACA collection are all based on the arcade versions of classic arcade games, which is fantastic as it means you can play infinitely if you just keep adding credits, which is done by pressing the L button. These games are designed for arcade play, and it's great to see these ports based off the MVS and not the AES version of the games. This way you can challenge yourself however you'd like, or you can just leisurely play the game. And I love that because that's how these games were originally intended to be played. There are 2 core gameplay modes in the game, stroke play and match play. Stroke play is your standard game of golf and can be played with another local friend, although match play is the one that's best played with a local buddy. This is where the ACA series proves its love affair with Nintendo is warranted. While the Xbox One and PS4 ports are equally as impressive as the ones on the Switch, the very nature of the Switch console means that you're always able to play a local multiplayer game pretty much at a moment's notice. All you have to do is detach the 2 Joy-Con controllers and boom! Player 2 is ready. This is something that only the Switch version can offer, as the others require a television to play. This one, well, it's got its TV built right into the system, and I really like that. It's really easy to just have a very quick couple of sessions. Neo Geo games were designed to be played in short bursts, and I find myself going back to these Neo Geo classics all the time on my Switch because of how easy it is to put in maybe 10-15 minutes and then move on to something else. I absolutely love that about the ACA series, and really hope the entire Neo Geo MVS library makes it over. The game was developed by Nazca, and if that sounds familiar, it's because these are the same folks behind Metal Slug. This game is downright beautiful. From the way the sprites animate to the fantastic cutscenes and backgrounds, Neo Turf Masters looks amazing. While the soundtrack isn't quite as memorable, there are a few catchy tunes here and there, and the voice acting is something you will never forget. I could go on and on about this game, but I'm gonna stop right here. This is one I used to adore in the arcades because of the large sprites and the wonderful colors. The fact the game is now on the Nintendo Switch, and that means I can easily bring it over to someone else's house and put in a few gameplay sessions, is a delight. It's like having an old arcade cabinet with me at all times. If you'd like to see what all the fuss is about, go ahead and give it a download. I assure you, you will not be disappointed.
4, 684 yards, par 5.